I'm here along the streets of Chongqing. It's a nice cool 18 degrees Celsius, and today we are having the legendary Chongqing Mala Hotpot in search of the best mala. This is it, guys. Today's episode might just be the most important one in the series. Chongqing is synonymous with hotpot, specifically the mala hotpot, and for good reason. The way they do hotpot here is like none other. While most hotpots use a broth with some spices and chili oil, the Chongqing hotpot is almost entirely tallow or beef fat. The abundance of oil is spiked with over 15 spices and then dissolved with tea. It is damn near impossible for it not to be incredibly flavorful. I don't think I've ever seen a city love a dish this much. The very streets smell like mala thanks to the dozens of hotpot places lined up against each other. Let me show you. The hotpot restaurants sandwich the place that are selling the hotpot base and souvenirs. I've only been here for 3 days, but I am convinced that it is impossible to find the best mala hotpot. But we are gonna try with 八将军非遗原味火锅. A quick refresher for those who were not here last episode. In my research for Chongqing mala spots, I found too many. But I also found that the common recurring theme in the online community is that people despise internet famous spots, particularly the ones in the hot area near 解放碑 over there. Those who do recommend going to the old neighborhoods instead for good food. So we are gonna do both. Starting with the internet famous 八将军, a 4.8 rating of 21,000 reviews. Quite literally a stone's throw away from 解放碑. Everything the online people told me to stay away from, and also my very first Chongqing hotpot experience. Let's get it, guys. Hey! Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoy the content, the best way to support me is what you are doing right now, giving me the video watch time. All of the reviews in this series are strictly unsponsored. If I don't pay for it, I won't talk about it, which means that I have to make money in other ways. Please consider joining as a member of the channel if you can afford to do so, or subscribe if you haven't already. Your support is much appreciated. And now back to the video. What did I tell you? This is the place that we're going to go. Hotpot base. Hotpot base. Anybody want? Say now. As usual, we are doing the 扫码点餐. I don't want to be too confident, but I've been in Chongqing. This will be the 4th day now, and nothing is too spicy yet. What do I do? Get with ball. Before the food comes, we go and 打料 first. We got the usual offerings. Wow, their bowls are all sanitized. For some rice. Let's do this. So what I read is that traditional Chongqing hotpot, right? You're just supposed to get a very basic youtier, and this is their xiangyu. Okay, the whole gang's here. You actually need the apron because the soup is bubbling and spitting the hotpot out. To do this properly, first you go in with the yaxie. This is curdled duck blood pudding. Duck blood mixed with milk. Because it's actually not safe to eat and 100% duck blood if I'm not wrong. Let's choose a square. As with hotpot, you always want to go in with things that need longer to cook. So like chicken feet, this is already cooked braised chicken feet. But the idea is to cook it until it's really soft. And then we can begin. Let's do a little 千层肚. What? 毛肚. So if 毛肚 is always 七下八上. What just happened? I feel like I just woke up from a dream. A dream where offals were shunned because of their off smells, where mouth and intestines had no crunch to them. A dream where hot pot bases were watery and tuned down on the numbness. What a weird dream. Incredibly high quality ingredients. I don't mean this as in expensive or A5. I mean this as the freshness of the innards and how they handle it is nothing I've ever seen. I'm gonna be really honest. Growing up, we have heard the stories about, in China they eat everything. The innards, the brain, whatnot. And to a kid, it was always a little intimidating. But if you're handling the innards like this, then suddenly it makes so much sense. Their innards taste cleaner than our lean meat. Like what did I have? I had duck intestines, duck blood, a beef tripe, the both parts, and it's so clean. I want to say 70% of a good hot pot, right, is having high quality ingredients. Cause it's, freshly cooked in front of you. There's not much marination or technique. So it all boils down to how the ingredient is prepped and the quality of it. And here, like the pig kidney, the slice on it, it is so satisfying to eat it in such a big slice. We eat yoji very commonly in Singapore, right? But having it like this, game changer. And then we talk about the 30%, the base. It is so violent. The whole thing is tallow and they go crazy with the spice, both in terms of heat and numbness. And obviously a very complex blend of spices that is cooked with the hot pot base. I don't think culinarily it is possible to squeeze more flavor into it. In cooking, we have spice, we have fat, the main things to impart flavor, and then salt to bring that out. Like from a theoretical point of view, it's maxed out which leads to the one and only miss. Like I said, it is very violent. I've been eating mala for like 1-2 months now, 4 days in Chongqing, and even so, like just as I was eating this, my stomach could feel it. Like the amount of oil, the spiciness, and having it piping hot, it is harsh, but so freaking good. So much so that I had to order this. And I'm not sure what I ordered, but it says right here, 奶茶配酒, right? And it's freaking delicious. I might want one more of these. Anyway, this is supposed to be the bad one, the lousier one, the internet famous one. This, really? I guess I'll find out. Let's move on to the next place. Next up, we are visiting the quieter neighborhood of Qixinggang to find one彭三老火锅. So this is our Lao Tree version, and I cannot imagine that it can be any better than what we just had. I chose this for 2 reasons. 1, it's quieter, and 2, it only has 250 reviews on 大众点评, which sounds kind of shallow now that I say it out loud. But anyway, we are here already.
有一个最低消费啊。
哦哟，没事。Oh, when was the last time I didn't 扫码点餐? Almost feels kind of nice to be able to like order like that. 好了。
点好了吗？去吃什么糕点？
中辣9个。
9公仔。
谢谢。So spiciness is kind of interesting because I've heard 2 accounts. The first is that 中辣 is a scam. I need to say this a bit softer. I heard that Chongqing people actually don't eat the 中辣. Like more people eat 微辣. So 中辣 is not really a 中辣, but it's like kind of to show that their spiciness level here is very high. And from what we had in the previous place, the 中辣 is Singapore star lah, almost quite accurately 1 pound above. And then the second account, which I got from my masseuse yesterday, is that the spiciness level over the past few years in Chongqing has fallen. This is so as to cater to the increasing number of tourists because Chongqing is very popular nowadays. So places near解放碑especially have tuned down their spiciness. Although I can't really say the same for here, right? They just hang the aprons on the wall. You're going to get yourself. Very homely. Because the hot pot base here is mostly oil, the boil is more violent because it needs more energy to break through the oil layer. So it will actually spit, like guaranteed, it's not a chance thing. It will actually spit oil around. So there was 鲜毛肚 and 绿色毛肚 on the menu, and it simply means fresh. And I didn't know what 绿色 mean, but it just means that these are pre-packaged ones. Let's try the fresh one first. still that quality. These are boneless chicken feet that are frozen. Wow, this is actually quite cool. They cooked it already, then they deboned it. Anyway, we need to leave this in for long, so I'm just gonna... Same thing with the beef tendons. This take a long while, so I'm gonna... Anyway, back to the mao tu. So this is the lower quality one. You can tell that it's processed already. And you can see that because it's stored in water, right? It's actually way smaller than it was because it was soaking in all the water just now. Now after cooking, right, it reduces by this much. But definitely the fresh, bigger piece, come on. You want some? Let's try some 千层肚. You can see that the zougan is not cut as skillfully as the previous place. It's not even. There are some parts where you can almost see through it. I've never tried this before. Wang Ho. Crunchy, very little taste. It tastes almost like chicken cartilage. Even just at the second hot pot, right, the criteria is kinda clear. I would say a good 60% is the freshness of the ingredients. In that aspect, I think the mao tu and the 千层肚, the fresh one, matches Fa Jiang Jun. But the pig kidney, not cut as well and not as fresh. It's still a little bit sing. And then the other 40% is the hot pot base. There's one possibly big miss that I don't want to talk about right now. But the one I want to talk about is that I don't think this is as high quality as the previous one. The flavors aren't as pronounced, especially the ma jiao. The ma jiao, when you bite in, right, is bitter. I'm not sure if it's the quality difference or is it, burnt during the cooking process. But the ma wei is not as fragrant, not as enjoyable either. Both times I ordered zhong la, this is slightly spicier. Maybe it's just as my Masu said, like the older neighborhoods still keep to the original level of spiciness. Let's check if the ji jiao is ready. This one doesn't have bone, so it shouldn't take that long. Wow, the ji jiao is very sing, even for a feet lover like me. And then we try the beef tendon. Okay, I've seen enough. Let's wrap it up here, and I'll see you all at 18T. We are now at 18T, one of the main attractions of Chongqing. And I was walking down the stairs, just trying to find a place. And you ever had a spot like call out to you? So we are in this really nice balcony now, just overlooking the street. And I got myself a green bean latte. I must have had 100 green tea lattes by now, but I never had a green bean latte. The espresso shot is on the top, so we're gonna... That's delightful. Anyway, recap. I've heard the stories, but I never believed it until now. The火锅 we just had is a Lao 火锅. It is not the stall that is old, it is the hot pot. I think, and I'm 95% sure, this is a recycled hot pot. That hot pot base was used over and over again. The first clue that I got, and I'm not sure if you all noticed, there was a dollop of tallow in the middle of the pot. Pure tallow, not the orange kind that is already in the hot pot base. It is very suspicious to top up tallow so blatantly, especially when you consider how hot pot base is made. Have I mentioned this already? Hot pot base is cooked with spices over a low heat for 5 hours. They will add each spice into it step by step, and it's always very interesting to see all the spring onions. The onions kind of bubble out when they put it in. But everything is very controlled so that things do not burn. You extract maximum flavor by cooking over a long period of time but not burning anything such that it turns bitter. Hint number 2 is when the hot pot settles, it is black. And there is one very common reason in cooking why things are black. It is either the hot pot is capable of absorbing light or that it is burnt. And this is confirmed when I bit into the numbing peppercorns. It's bitter. There may be a variant or quality of a numbing peppercorn that is bitter somewhere out there in the world, but I think the easier deduction is that it is burnt from repeatedly being cooked in the hot pot. Hint number 3 is the attendant was making sure that my hot pot was at a very moderate level of heat. Every time it will start to go to a rolling boil, he will turn it down a little bit, which was a little annoying because every time I add ingredients in, right, the temperature will drop and then it will stop bubbling, which is very dangerous in terms of food safety. Don't eat hot pot that is not in a rolling boil. So I turn it up every time I added food, and then he will come and turn it down, which tells me that he's trying to manage that hot pot base in the long run. And then the last and most conclusive clue is that the hot pot base is 10 renminbi. That is $2 for that volume of hot pot, which means you're not buying the hot pot base, you're renting it. Surprisingly, I'm not actually very affected by the hygiene part of it. It's not the indirect hits that I wanted, but okay, if they have been doing it for this long and they're still doing it, I assume it's not that terrible. What I'm not okay with is the taste. When you have lao yu, right, or old oil, right, whatever you cook with it, right, will not taste good. There's this very stubborn bitterness to the things you cook with it. That is why sometimes when you eat 经济米粉, right, even though the chicken wing may look really nice, bright yellow, fried really well, there's still that tinge of bitterness to it because the old oil is being caught onto the chicken wing. So in this hot pot, as you eat more of it, the bitterness builds. I already sensed a little bit of it at the start, but as I ate more, it became really obvious. That's it. It's time for the verdict. 1 plate I'll walk for the mala, 2 plates I'll take a bus for the mala, and 3 plates I'll go anywhere in Chongqing for the mala. And 彭三老火锅 is 1 plate. Which means the better of the 2 hot pots is 八将军, with our 3rd ever on this channel. 4 plates. I will fly to Chongqing for this hot pot. As a foodie at my age, you don't get many of these moments anymore. Moments where you taste something so significantly better than the best that you ever had. Moments where you taste your favorite dish, something that you have eaten so many times, but still get your benchmarks completely broken. I'm sure there are like plenty of other hot pots that are better, if not as good as 八将军, but I might need another 5 years in Chongqing before I start to differentiate at that level. And that's it. That's it for the Chongqing arc. I'm happy. I think I got what I came here for. It's been a great 8 days. Obviously, I have tried other stuff as well, but I'll leave those in another video. I have no idea how the last 3 malas are gonna compare, but I'll try my best not to be biased. But for now, thank you so much for accompanying me on the Chongqing arc. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!